Taurus, this is your July 2025 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, it's your reading. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me on the channel. It's Romy here. We're going to open up this month with the energy of the Ten of Coins. The way that you think is changing through third house energy of Cancer season in perhaps an irreversible way, and it signals a shift, I think, a new way forward that needs to be embraced. And it's sort of delicately trying to find that balance, isn't it, between the rootedness of tradition and how things have always been, and where the comfort or the safety zone exists, and what must be now listened to and understood and processed in order to be able to walk this new path, to be able to thrive in this new energy. The last 6 years, Uranus has been working with you, and there has been this quiet and at times very loud inner soul revolution taking place. And as it gets prepared to shift signs in July into Gemini, there's a real reflection from you in terms of how life has evolved in this last 6 years, and where you find yourself now, what you've really learned from that as an experience. And July definitely has us a little bit coming and going, let's not lie. There are 4 planets going retrograde, pulling us back and inwards, being very contemplative and reflective, very nostalgic as well through Cancer season. And yet Uranus in Gemini is speeding things up in a shocking, unpredictable and quite disruptive way. So, when we're in an emotional water sign, that can mean that we are feeling all the feels. And with the Ten of Coins, there may be some strong aspects connected into family, to what is going on in the kind of base foundations of your life. It's time to challenge the thing that has limited you, and that may be your thinking. And in third house energy, we really see that come to light in quite a powerful way. So from the 4th, as Venus shifts into Gemini and Neptune goes retrograde, there's going to be a lot of reviewing going on for you. And the other thing that is important through the course of this month is to really think about the plans and perhaps break them down and have some understanding that you are going to be reprioritizing things, and that we may need some temporary sort of adjustments that are necessary in order to continue to move towards what a bigger picture looks like, right? We've got the energy of Temperance here. We've got us kind of straddling these 2 worlds. We're also trying to find some balance and some patience in regards to perhaps what might be unfolding in regard to family situation, or again, the foundations and the roots of what are are in play for you at the moment. It's about having to find a way to be at home with the pace that you are experiencing at the moment, and it's difficult, isn't it? Because you can look around and everyone is going through their own revolutionary, transformative phase, and people are experiencing it differently. They are responding to it very differently, and you just have to sit within your energy field and really think about what is being asked of me and how can I find my leveledness and my groundedness in this moment. I think if you can come into July with that as a priority, then you're going to find it a lot easier to be able to know at any given moment like where the focus needs to be, and also to know what it is that you need, mind, body, soul, in order to kind of keep that leveledness. There is an aspect of patience being asked of you, and that might be hard to embrace right now or to lean into if you feel that urgency or that high stressor point. And when Uranus lands in Gemini at 0 degrees on the 7th, there's going to be some rebellious awakening experiences. Now, yes, we've got this energy for the next 6 years, but when it lands initially, you will feel it, and so it could bring through some realizations, some ideas, some real originality, creativity along with it. But the decision and the impulse to act will feel super powerful, Everything else in July, though, is about being more measured and more steady. We approach a full moon in Capricorn on the 10th of the month, and, we may be assessing something and looking at the significance or the enormity of what it represents to us. But we've got the World here, right? Two really beautiful major arcanas directing you in this month. There's a sense of completion, of something coming together. There is something celebratory, and actually a little bit of a lightness fell as we look toward her angel wings and the way that she swings high kind of over the landscape. So I feel that, you know, there's a sense of you understanding and, you know, the moment not being lost on you actually around that full moon, and really kind of taking some pride in, you know, what has been achieved and accomplished, even if you know what lies ahead still, you know, is going to be asking a lot of you, or you know, even taking a lot from you in some way, shape or form. You know, life humbles us as we grow, doesn't it? There's a quiet wisdom that emerges because of, you know, the way that life shapes us. There's a discernment that comes into being, and a deep appreciation, I think, for, you know, the simple things, but also for, you know, what you've been through, who you have around you, and really, again, like what it is that matters. And I think, you know, at this point, you know, you are in the mid-month of July really assessing, particularly as Saturn shifts retrograde in Aries on the 12th, you know, that if you're going to do something, you just want to do it in the right way. Yeah, there's that sort of real feeling. The Alchemist comes in here, lots of majors showing up here. And, you know, what he brings to the table, especially in Cancer season, right, for you with this third house energy that's saying, how do I want to communicate? How am I going to get from where I am to where I want to be? It's a Mercury infused energy in third house. That serves you really well. There's a lot going on. It's very chaotic externally, and it would be very easy to lose focus, but he's holding the flame as his central way to kind of just maintain what's important right now, what matters right now. And it may be that there's some late nights, it may be that there's some poring over things to really get to the heart, to the source, to the root of something. You know, it feels like you're devoting yourself to something in the month of July. I think that serves you really well. The Magician also reminds you you have everything that you need in order to do everything that you're meant to do right now. What is being asked of you is to take the right measured, inspired action. Now, it can feel with Saturn, you know, that we are being restricted or blocked or slowed down in some way, but even if that is the case, there's plenty that can happen behind the scenes. And actually, again, the sense of originality, creativity, or drawing on things that you know that actually you're incredibly gifted in, and being able to alchemize and bring them together in a way that really makes sense and is powerful actually in terms of how it can be expressed, will serve you exceptionally well. There's a reminder, I think, with the Magician that, you know, you need to sell. You need to sell yourself, to sell your idea, to really think about the things that you are trying to move forward or to progress. And if you are coming up against some challenges, remember Saturn retrograde in Aries is going to be asking you to look at personal autonomy to the degree that you feel like you're in charge and in control, or that, you know, how you are seeking your freedom and where you feel you're being limited. And as we said, the way that you think is changing irreversibly, you know, through the course of this month and this year in its entirety, right? So I like that this shows up for you. I feel it can give you some important opportunities to communicate. We've got to bear in mind that Mercury is also back spinning, just adding to this mix on the 17th in Leo, which means we'll be in shadow from the beginning of July. So some of those things can get a little bit lost in translation. However, here we are with our Queen of Coins. This is your grounded, measured. This is you, Taurus, doing you best, right? It's just, what have I got? What have I got to work with? How am I going to make this work? I'm putting my practical kind of no nonsense, you know, even though all of the emotions are swirling, even though you feel like there's a lot of unknown or uncertainty in different situations, there is this appreciation for like, well, this still has to be done and this still has to happen. And I think it's that stoicism that you bring emotionally, physically, and just having the stamina actually, in order to show up in the right way will be super helpful for you. It does tell me though that if there are work things underway for you, again, it serves you to be sort of original and creative in your thinking and move forward in a grounded way in order to kind of bring something to life. And even if it takes some weeks or months to sort of really arrive at its fruition, this is going to be a very valuable time for you. There's a sense of something feeling a little bit like hard work, but I don't think you've ever been afraid of that, Taurus. And in some ways, you know, you are not needing to convince anyone of anything. There's part of me that just says, you know, let them think what they want to. You know where you are, you know where you're at, you know what you're working on or working towards, or why you're making the choices and decisions that you are. And I think it's just a time of real self-trust in regards to that for you through this month, right? So, you know, as we make our way towards Leo season, of course, you know, there's a real emphasis around what is happening in the home. Often through this time, we have to really almost like inner parent ourselves. We become very focused on our roots, you know, on our sense of safety. We need to bring a nourishing and compassionate approach to different things that may be playing out. You know, you're trying to make sense perhaps of family dynamics and the balancing maybe of work-life balance, you know, coming through. But again, we've got this communication showing up. Now, the two birds are coming together, but they feel maybe like there's a little tension that could be brewing there. So keep that in mind as we come into Leo season from the 22nd. That said, I still feel like you're able to cut through a lot of confusion. It's just with that Mercury retrograde, we might need to tell somebody a number of times before it really lands, or you feel like it's really being understood. Okay, that could be a little bit frustrating for you, but at the same time, you come at it with the perseverance and the patience of, you know, this Queen of Pentacles. And so I'm not too concerned about you sort of losing it or being too rash or impulsive. It just doesn't really feel your vibe this month. I think there's a deeper soul kind of current that you're very aligned with, and it feels like a higher wisdom or a deeper calling that's just reminding you like, this is what we need to do and this is how we need to do it. Okay. Sometimes there feels like there can be a naivety, I think, that shows up when we're working, you know, with the pages. And it may be that, you know, you feel like you were naive, or you feel like someone else is being naive in regards to a situation at this moment in time. But, you know, again, it's about airing and expressing what you're feeling and not like shying away or hiding behind anything or anyone. It feels like as you approach that new moon in Leo, there are things that need to be said because there are goals that need to be set. And so you're very aware, okay, if this is the next big thing that is really important to me and it really matters, and you know, this last 6 years has really taught me something, this time of reprioritization is just so wholly important, right? Because some of these goals that sort of set in motion around that new moon Leo from the 24th and actually right through to the end of the month, and the vibe that you're in, right, the way that you're feeling about things, there's a quickening to it. So even though we're in retrograde energy, it's like you're almost sort of standing back as an observer and witnessing, you know, God, I just thought about that yesterday and all of a sudden like that's happened, or this is moving, and you know, there's a kind of a train you want to jump on, there's a wave you want to catch. It's just like there's an urgency that, by the way, you don't need to feel in your body, but you know, symptomatically the physical ascension symptoms are pretty intense right now, so that may well be going on for you, but it isn't something that you need to feel the urgency to kind of push for or force. This is something that is almost like coming together for you. You know, there's your Temperance, your World, your Alchemist. It's kind of destined for you. It's meant for you. There's something going on that's orchestrating this, Taurus. You just have to trust and find the flow that sits with that. Now, we know there'll be moments where we don't know if we're coming or going. That's just the nature of how July shows up. On the 30th, though, we're going to see Chiron wounded planet in Aries doing its backspin. So there's also a reminder that we may track back over things that, you know, had been a source of pain for us previously, or things that we even thought we had, you know, healed or moved forward from. And yet, you know, through this fourth house energy, there could be some family stuff that gets stirred back up a little bit. Okay. Again, it's just shifting this energy and signaling that a new way forward needs to be embraced now. It's like things are going to be different. That's okay. That's okay. But it is going to take a moment to just really sit with and contemplate what that means for you personally, and what that means for the people around you, the people that you love. And I think this is the thing, right? It's about really the love that you breathe in and the love that you can put out to this world. And if we can always come back to that as our sort of base point, then everything else makes a little bit more sense, right? So if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we're going to look at in the extended reading. I hope you'll join me. It's a way to support me so I can keep showing up for the free readings. I really appreciate it. And we'll look at a personal and a relationship card for you also. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify these cards and see the direction we're going to be taking this. Okay, we've got the 6 of Fire, and we've got another Magician coming in. That feels nice. Temperance, Messenger of Water, and we've got the Devil showing up. 5 of Cups there. And another Energy of the World. 3 of Earth, 10 of Fire. Lots of 10s, lots of completion cards coming through. And please do check out romywiser.com, my website. You're going to find ways to work with me one-to-one. Oh, there's another Temperance. And you're going to find all my signature products, my journal, my deck, my book, all my meditations. You're going to find my membership and also the new venture that I'm launching. So please come check out and make sure you're signed up to my newsletter and all my socials. I like the arrival of that High Priestess for you. Just reminding you that you can actually really trust in knowing that you're doing right for you, and that the steps that you're taking this month are the right ones. I'm just going to pick up the 2 that dropped there. So we've got the Gathering and we've got the Energy of the Sun. Beautiful. So this is Life Soul Vision, which is my deck, and we've got Enlightened and the Exhale. We've got Equinox, Balanced Release, Maverick of the Light, Dancer of the Shadows, and then we have Nourish Your Inner Wealth. You can find my deck again over on romywiser.com. And then we're going to look at one more oracle for Taurus, and this is for July. We've got Ascension Flame, Liberation, a sense of greater purpose, and high expectations. Right, Taurus, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate you. And I'm going to see you on the extended, and have a great month ahead. Take care.